dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, or in this case, not very sensible secondhand classics, a series where we look at nostalgic cars that you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000 that are over 15 years old. This is a 2006 Alfa Romeo Brera 2.2 JTS SV, and it's not very sensible at all. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Alfa Romeo Brera first appeared as a concept car in the early 2000s, and amazingly, they decided to actually put the concept into production. It wasn't exactly the same as the concept car when they eventually launched it in this country in 2006. For a start, it didn't have the V8 engine, and it was a bit smaller, but nevertheless, it was a sort of brave effort. Based on the same platform as the Spider that came out the same year, I think, and the 159 that came out slightly before this, which was never used by any other car, that platform. It was actually used just by Alfa. It was going to be used in a bit of a luxury car, I believe, but it didn't end up happening like that. Best laid plans of mice and men. Base engine was this one, a 2.2 JTS with 182 horsepower. And then there was a V6 version with 3.2 litres and 256 horsepower. It was a General Motors engine, not the old Busso. Then in 2009, the 1.75 TBI engine became available. That's an engine I actually tried myself in a 159 Sport Wagon, and that generated 197 horsepower. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. I mean, why exactly would you want an Alfa Romeo sports car or GT car, depending on your point of view, and have an engine that we can't talk about? But, Brera is a funny old thing, and so some people like them, don't they? Handling, to me, I've heard this car doesn't handle very well. It feels a bit heavy. Yeah, it does feel a bit heavy, but I think the handling is okay, as long as you don't expect it to handle like a 156 or 166, something like that. I'm a much more sort of relaxed driver than someone like Mr. James Martin from JM on Cars or Mr. Richardson from Furious Driving, and so I'm not really that fussed about whether a car is, actually on the ragged edge of chassis development. I'm more of a kind of cruiser person, and I think it's fine. The car weighs, I believe, about 1.6 tons with this JTS engine. So it is a bit heavier than you'd imagine. It also feels quite wide, but the acceleration feels strong. 0 to 60 in this car is about 8.3 seconds. Obviously, you go faster if you go for one of the other petrols. And on these country roads in Worcestershire, the steering feels okay. For some reason, the steering feels better than the 159 sports wagon that I drove in 2023. I don't know why that is. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but that does appear to be what's going on. Gearbox, which is a similar gearbox to use a lot of General Motors cars at the time, feels okay too. I have to say, actually, this really isn't bad the way it drives. The S models are a little bit further than this. This is just an SV, which is to do with the panoramic roof we've got here. We call it Sky View. But yeah, it feels good. The ride isn't too bad either, actually. Driving position is okay as well. I quite like the way this drives. It's been criticised a lot over the years, but I don't think this is actually the thing that would put me off buying one. We'll get on to some of the things which you might not like so much about this car later on, but certainly the way it drives, I quite like it. My goodness gracious me, viewers. What a handsome little car. It's a shame it's raining today because I can't show you the new paint job that this car literally had finished yesterday. When Stephen got this car, which was a little while ago, there was rust just everywhere around the arch, little blisters everywhere, front and back. This car has also had a replacement subframe fitted. I cannot believe he paid, obviously with rusty bits on the outside, about £1,500 for this car. Without the auction fees, this car was almost no budget reviews money. Can you imagine? No budget reviews, 2006 Alfa Romeo Brera. It's not too far off, actually. Parking sensors don't work, never mind. We didn't crash into the barrier here, which is good. Just every angle, it's very, very attractive car. And at the back, we've got these quad exhaust tips as well. Just, yeah, wow. Anyway, to open up the boot, you can use the button inside, but I've used the key. I've been told not to put the key in the boot because that will be a disaster. We've had to new struts probably in this, haven't we? It's quite a heavy boot lid for some reason. Also, the lip is really high on this car. It's not very practical, really, at all. I mean, it looks fantastic the rear end of the car, but never mind. Let's just pull this up. I've actually got a space saver spare wheel and some tools and everything in there. That's very good, isn't it, viewers? Obviously, a careful owner has been looking after this car for some time, considering that the replacement subframe cost about the same as the car. Yeah, someone very careful and very loyal to Alfa Romeo. So we've got 17-inch wheels on this SV model. It's a very early one, this actually. It dates from the first few months of production for the UK market. They were launched in 2006 over here. Lovely, lovely front end, of course, very similar to the 159 that I drove on the channel in 2023. So let's open it up. Let's just make sure the door drops properly when we open it. This sort of a door glass. Yeah, that's fine. It's a common problem on these. But also the electric windows are really, really common for little weird quirks. James Martin, the German Cars, drove one of these on his channel, I think a couple of years ago now, and he talked about the Brera he'd owned previously, which had problems with electric windows. The car he drove to also had problems with electric windows, and this one, it's not too bad, but there are issues with it. Powerful mirrors work. One thing I will say is that there is a video on YouTube from Neil from the Italia Autos channel when he looks over the common issues on the Brera, and you've got to be quite a serious petrol head not to be put off by all the problems you find. I'm not going to list too many of them here because it's a 10-minute video, and I'll put it in the video description below. But yeah, if you really are thinking about buying one of these cars, I suggest you just have a look at that just so you know what you're letting yourself in for. One thing I'm not going to do is climb in the back of this behind myself. Oh, I can't anyway because that lever doesn't seem to want to work. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. No, let's not break Stephen's car, viewers. Let's not do that. But even if I did, it's just no room. I'll try to get into the other side because Mr. Manning from the Matty's Cars channel dictates that I need to do that. But we'll look at some other stuff first. We've got partial electric seat adjustment, not full. The bolster's wearing a bit, but you know, this car's done over 100,000 miles, so I'll forgive it that. Nice quality interior in general though, and dashboard, very handsome. Key goes in here a little bit like a BMW E93 series, which would have been launched about the same time as one of these, and also a Volvo S40. It was launched in 2004. Yeah, parking help not available. Lovely. Might as well start her up actually. I think you need to press the clutch to do that, so I'll just put it down. Yeah, check right hand rear light. So if we put the lights on here, lovely, lovely dials. Do we have Giri? Yes, we have some Giri. I like Giri, viewers. And olio, acqua, benzina, of course. Very similar in here to the 159 that I drove in 2023. Of course, they're very similar underneath, and the interior is very, very similar as well. Stereo, we got CD player in here. Actually, I'll turn it off. I don't want to waste loads of fuel. Ooh, nice. Cruise control stalk is down here. These stalks also are prone to failure. So's the gearbox. I could go on, but I won't, because I'll just get depressed. And you know, it's a bit grey today, but I'm really happy to be driving this car, even if all the reputation precedes it. I still really like it. Anyway, yes, it's sort of aluminium. I wonder if this has been replaced actually, because they tend to scratch quite easily. So take that out so I don't scratch it. The climate control is down here. I think all of them came with this. So it's the same gearbox, or the M32 gearbox. It was used in things like the Astra H, VXR and things like that. And they're not necessarily the strongest gearbox in the world. Let's have a look under this armrest here. Oh, that's a button there for opening the boot, I believe, if you need to. And we've got a thing here. I wonder what that does. Interesting. Maybe that's ventilated or something. Ashtray, of course, for the Autostrada. Right, now, glove box. Are my secret mission documents going to go in here, viewers, or are they not? Let's have a look, because the door bins don't look very big. Do we... I mean, that'll have to do, won't it? Actually not as bad as I thought in terms of the interior quality. The dash is actually quite good. I mean, I prefer a beige leather interior, viewers, but that's just normal, isn't it? We've even got Alfa Romeo embossed pedals down here, which is a nice little touch. Has a light switch, which unfortunately you might need in your Brera, is there. And then we've got a little way of, I think, changing the mileometer from miles to kilometres if you want to, which is good. A little storage tray there for, I don't know, parking tickets and things like that. Okay, I've been putting this off for far too long. Mr. Manning, you shall get your wish. Let us try to get in the bag. Oh, it's not looking promising, this, viewers. Oh gosh, is this actually broken? No. Okay, how do I... Oh, okay. Yeah. I think if you've got somebody who's got no legs whatsoever, you might be able to get... Oh gosh, no! Oh! Oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. Look at this. Whoo! But I've got an armrest. I think there's a ski hatch here if you want to take your Brera skiing. There we go. Oh, dropped it through. I'll have to open the boot to get that back. Absolute utter incompetence. Oh my gosh, no. I can't get in it. No, it's too low. What? Oh my gosh, this is awful. Let me out of here. Let me out of here, viewers. I've had enough. Oh, but... Ow. I got in a Vauxhall VX220 yesterday, and that was pretty bad. That getting out of there gave me the same kind of feeling. Oh, my legs. Oh, dear. All I can say, viewers, is that is a bit disappointing. How about we actually have a look under the bonnet? That might cheer me up a bit. Mr. Manning, your wish is my command. Okay, another problem with these cars is this really fragile little bonnet catch here. Really fragile. Yeah, not the best. Also, oh dear. Yeah, I mean, that's not really a problem. It's what's underneath that's a problem. If your front subframe goes on these, and it's really common, quite a heavy car as well, that might be the end of the car. Anyway, yes, the 2.2 JTS twin phaser engine generating 182 horsepower. Now, might think it's Alfa Romeo's own engine. It's based on the old 2-litre JTS that was in the 916 Spider and things like that, but it's not. It's actually based on a General Motors block. I think it's similar to the Ecotec engines, this particular one. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Obviously, you've got to make sure you look after these engines like anything else. It's just, yeah, that's just Alfa Romeo for you, isn't it? Some people I've read have very few problems with their Breras, but I've heard of just some horrendous stories. I mean, obviously James Martin with his own one and things like that, you know, and just watching that Italia Autos video. But there we go. You're best off really with a car like this, probably having a specialist look after it. Either you really want one of these cars and you just accept that the issues these can have are a fact of life, or you don't and you are frightened and you go back and just drive Volvos, which is what which is me. I am a member of the Volvo Owners Club. I love Alfa Romeo. I love driving Alfa Romeo. I've driven so many of them, but it does just scare me a little bit, just reputation of these cars. I really shouldn't be put off by that, but after all, I source cars for private clients, and I need to be sort of transparent with them. So, yeah, you'd have to show me a sort of load of receipts and check on one who's very carefully for me to say to somebody, yeah, it's okay to buy this. Stephen's a brave old man, and I'm really grateful to have driven this, but I'm not sure I could justify having one of these myself. Maybe a 159 Sport Wagon, but this, just because of the rear space just being so bad, maybe not. Which is such a shame. Anyway, viewers, let's not get too down and go for another drive. I must say thank you to Stephen from Stephen's Four Wheels, who's having a go in my SsangYong Tivoli today whilst I drive this, for letting me try this Brera. He bought it at an auction for about £1,500 with fees, which is absolutely insane. And he's a brave man taking on this car where, you know, a lot of people just wouldn't have bothered to doing the paint on it and looking to sort of get it up to standard. But because we've had things like the rear subframe replaced in this car, and it drives actually, for I understand one of these should drive like really well, I'm sure this is going to be a really good car for somebody once he's finished with it, because I've actually quite enjoyed myself in it. I know this is not supposed to be an out and out sports car, it's meant to be more of a kind of GT thing, but actually I don't know what we've done to the steering compared to that sport wagon I drove in 2023, but I've actually quite liked this. It's just such a shame that the problems I've mentioned with it are there and you can't ignore them, because otherwise I'd be straight in the queue for a nice kind of 159 or sport wagon, which I really enjoyed. I am enjoying this as well. It's just I'm glad it's not my money that I'm putting into this. But yeah, I'm really happy to have a go in this. I'm not sure I'm just brave enough to take one of these on, which is something of a shame. So viewers, let's talk a bit about the S edition of the Brera. Now this was a version for the UK market. I think they made up 500 of these cars, which was undertaken by ProDrive. Yes, ProDrive, the people who used to do Colin McRae's rally cars back in the day. Suspension was by Bilstein and Eibach. It had a sports exhaust and 19-inch wheels. Came out in 2008. Now they didn't have the panoramic roof, but they sort of did, because I gather from what James Martin said from JM on Cars when he drove the Brera S that they had this glass roof like in this SV model, but it's covered up by the headliner, which is wonderful. not really my sort of thing, that if it's sort of firmer and that sort of thing. I prefer cars that are a bit softer, personally. You also get, of course, a four-wheel drive version of the V6 with the electronic transmission if you wanted. And on this 2.2 engine, you could have the 7-speed automated manual, which I'm not sure I'd recommend particularly. So viewers, should you consider an Alfa Romeo Brera for your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000, I think if you're very careful and you're willing to spend some money, as Stephen has done on this car, then you can get yourself a good one and you can enjoy it. I wouldn't say these cars are for everyone. I would be a little bit concerned about buying one of these. If I was getting one of these for a client and we really wanted one, I'd make sure we have the most thorough mechanical report known to man. But anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Thank you again to Stephen for letting me have a go in this car. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and subscribe to Stephen's Four Wheels. Like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some hopefully a bit more sensible, reasonably priced, nostalgic motoring.